Hey guys, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another episode of Let's Learn Some Redstone. Today, we're going to be dealing with all four types of rails and the basic uses and some advanced uses because you know what? Let's just do it that way. So, what we got is a regular rail, an activator rail, a power rail, and detector rail. Okay? So those are the four types of rails you have. Now, I'm not going to go into the crafting of them because, well, you know what? I don't have them all memorized. I can tell you how to make a set of regular rails. That's it. So, now, the rails, they need to be placed on a flat surface. Or you can actually, let me grab this iron block real fast. Or you can have them raise up like this. But if you place a regular rail and try to turn it, it's going to do this. It's not going to work properly. So if you want to raise it up after a turn, you got to move one block. But you can turn immediately after a block and then go up. And that is the standard rule for all the rails. You need at least one block before you can move it up. They don't move up on the turn. So, let's get into some of the qualities of each rail. We're going to deal with the regular rails last because they have some of the more interesting ones. But let's start out with the easiest one. We'll start out with the detector rail. The detector rail is a redstone component that whenever a minecart passes over it, it puts an output. It takes a signal and puts an output. So if I place that there, as you can see, it goes activates and deactivates. Okay. Now, if it's one block below, only if it's at least one block below, you can have any redstone signal you want. In fact, even if it's one block above, you can even have it powering it like this. Now, you can't use a comparator with it one block above if you're looking for like containers. Like if this passes by, I recommend using repeaters or even dust. And you can also use observers for it if you feel like it, or even redstone torches, pistons, anything that will produce a signal. Droppers. But that's one use for the detector rail. Another use for the detector rail is to tell how many items are in a container minecart. Either the hopper minecart or the minecart with a chest. Like I said, like I have a minecart with a chest here. I have a minecart with a hopper. I pull it out. It's empty now. Now, if I take and put this minecart with a hopper on here, it's not going to do anything until I throw an item in. It works the same way. Minecart with a chest or a minecart with a hopper. Those two are the only ones that have signal power, that will produce a signal with a comparator unless you go down here. So like if I just take this right here, it's producing a signal because it's pulling the signal from the block. This will produce a signal strength of 15 straight from the block, or if you're using containers based on the strength of how many items are in your containers. Now here we've got the power rail. Now a power rail has one good use that most people will say, yes, this is how you use it. You push it, it starts to move, it hits a power rail, it will continue. Now I've got power rails right here. So I'm just going to tap it, and you notice it's really not moving. So powered rails that are not powered will slow down minecarts. Powered rails that are powered will increase the speed of minecarts. Also, you'll hear people call these golden rails, but that's because you need gold to make it. Now, they can power, once they receive power, they can only go up to 9 blocks. Okay? Now, on Java, you'll be able to extend it out with a single power source by doing what's called, it's a bud technique, but we don't have bud, so if I place one here, this one gets powered. On Java, it will not. So you just continue out, and then when you get to the last one, you leave your torch there, and you leave your powering setup there, and break the rest, and all of it will be powered. There's ways to make it work. Now, here we have activator rails, which if I take my minecart with a hopper and place it down here, and I'm just going to go and I'm going to throw this iron block here. Now this is entirely filled with activator rails. So I'm going to push it, and if you notice, it didn't pick it up. Activator rails are used to either activate or stop actions from a minecart. Now, a hopper minecart will not be able to pick up or drop off items. A minecart chest is a minecart chest. It does nothing on activator rails. Activator rails pretty much do nothing to it. You can open it. Yeah, it does nothing to it. You have regular minecarts, which if any entity is in the minecart that touches a activator rail, it will be released and shot out. So we have that, and with the TNT minecart, it'll blow up. Yeah. And I'm not going to talk about the command minecart because that right there is creative only. And I'm trying to avoid as much creative stuff as I can. But, so, now, what we got here is a bunch of blocks up. I had them, after I placed the first thing, it popped up. But, as you can see, I got pistons, and I'm placing blocks on these pistons so that it's just more of a visual than anything else. We got observers powering the pistons with rails on the back of them. We have powered rails and activator rails. Now here's the thing. They power up to 9 blocks. Okay? So if you're going to just power one thing, you could choose either one, but if you're going to power a line like this, because that's what this is for, it's to power one thing, one line, you can use either all powered rails or all activator rails or switch in between each observer. Because if I hit this, if you notice, all the pistons push their blocks up. And they will continue doing that until you stop activating the observer. Yeah, so now we're getting on to the regular rails. Now, first thing is, when you place the rails down, they will always face north and south, in the north and south direction. Always when you place them. So if you grab it and you place it, this way is either north or south, or this way is north and south. Okay? So, if we take and place a rail down in between these, it works with those ones too. You just have to do this and then place it. Rails will automatically snap together in the east-west direction. So they face north and south, and they snap in the east-west direction. So, with that right there, we know that this way is north and south, and this way is east and west. So, well, with this you can just know that basic direction. But with regular rails, they will always snap to the east and to the south. So with the locator map, as you can tell, I am facing south. And if I go right here and look up this way, I am facing east. Whoops. So, regular rails will always snap with the most east or south rail. So if I break this, place a regular rail, most south, east and south before all other options. But and the regular rails are the only rails able to be curved. So that's one of their special functions. So I just got a little loop just showing you that, yeah, they can curve. Then here I have another little thing. I have a curved here and straight here. If I flip this lever, we're able to switch the curve. So this is quite useful, more for if you're like creating like a mob storage and you need each one going into a certain cell. When they come in this way over that, they will not go that way. They will bounce and go that way. But when they go like this and come in this way, they'll turn, ignoring this rail. So, how is that useful? Well, I just gave you an example. But, okay, so now, the curved rails, how is that useful? Well, let's take a look in here. Now, anybody that knows this setup would know what this is used for. This is the rail setup for a horizontal, for a straight line piston bolt. I am going in one direction and it's going to be this way. So, yeah, it's designed for a piston bolt. You place pistons and push the minecarts around. Java has them faster, but you know what? We have them too. So now, this one right here is a diagonal rail placement for a piston bolt. Blocks get pushed into here and here on the sides of the rails at the same time, which then pushes you. Okay, well that's the royal. That's how you do the diagonal for the piston bolt. Now, the reason why I was letting you guys know about the direction is so that you can determine if you need to power the rails or not if you're doing a piston bolt. Diagonal ones, it doesn't matter. Standard ones, it does. So if it goes in the southeast direction, you don't need to place power on them, but if it goes the north and west direction, you need to power them. So, now, one last thing. When you are building things like your roller coasters, your minecart tracks, whatever you're making, and you're coming up to a turn, okay? You're coming up here, your rails are coming, and you're going to a turn, and you place one here. You're going to notice this immediately. It is not moving up, because rails, when they curve, they need one block before they are able to change into a upwards direction, or even but not a downwards direction. So if I move this here and put you here, just like that, downwards able to cut immediately. Upwards have to go up, have to be one extra block. So, and that's everything about the rails that I use. It's not necessarily absolutely everything because there's so much more. It's just the only stuff I can think of right now. Utilizing it with observers to power items in a rapid manner. Item detection. detection of minecarts just going through, creating power lines, creating things that kick people out of their minecarts, roller coasters, rails, rail stations, anything. All you have to do is just understand the basics of it and figure out how to combine the basics with some of the more advanced stuff, and you'll be able to create anything like well, probably the most impressive thing I saw was a 64 minecart station where you're able to go to 64 different locations just by using 2 item frames. Yeah, it's a real thing. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to help me out, subscribe or support me on Patreon. Links in the description. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section. If it's a major thing that you're confused about, you can join my Patreon. I'm not Patreon, my Discord. I'm actually fairly active on there. And if I can't help you, I've got people that do know stuff. They can help you too. We're all about trying to make sure that we help everybody understand what they can. Alright, you guys? This is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.